Can I get a motion to call this meeting to order?
So moved.
Seconded?
Yep, second.
Second. All right, I have to go through roll call. So, Jim?
Yes.
Mike?
Yep.
Suresh?
Present.
Peter?
Yes.
Mary Lee?
Here.
Perfect. All yours, Peter.
Okay, thanks. Good afternoon, committee members. I hope you can see my screen, which is the agenda. Scroll down. I have the minutes. I'll switch over to the minutes. If you need the minutes, Mr. Chairman, just a vote to approve the minutes from last week, November 6th at 2 p.m.
Perfect. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. Perfect. Roll call. Jim?
Yes.
Mike?
Yep.
Suresh?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Mary Lee?
Yes.
Perfect. Motion carries.
Okay, thanks to Mr. Chairman. Committee members, I'll continue to move down the agenda. Item 3, which is just to talk about the progress of the RFQ. I'll put this all together. The update on the reference, the score sheet, consensus, and then the letters. The progress on the RFQ evaluations are near completion. We do not have everything at this time finalized at this moment. Waiting for some additional reference checks to finalize the point structures for those for the firms, the CM firms that have submitted. And 1 or 2 scores are still to be coming in from some of the committee members. I hope certainly to have that wrapped up in the next day or so, certainly by Friday, which at that point I would get the consensus score sheet out to the committee in terms of showing everyone where the scores landed, and with the idea that we would have a final discussion on the RFQ phase, which would be my suggestion here, Mr. Chairman, would be Monday, the 17th of November at 2 p.m. to finalize the RFQ phase and make the advancement of those into the next phase, the RFP, which would begin that day as well.
Does that work for folks?
Works for me.
Great.
Yep.
Okay.
Looks
That's
like
what we're looking at.
Mark
ahead.
Stafford is waiting in the waiting room. If you could add him, please.
Should be all set now.
Okay.
I am. Thank you very much.
Okay. Back to number 3 on the agenda. That following the notification letters will go out that day on Monday. If the decision is finalized on Monday the 17th, the OPM will clean up the letters and get them out that day before close of business on Monday, November 17th. If there's nothing else, Mr. Chairman, committee members, I can move down to item 4. And in fact, maybe I'll skip to item 5, which would be more in sequence before number 4, if you don't mind, if that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So with respect to the schedule, a couple of screens, I'm going to switch over. Here's the calendar. I'm going to zoom in on where we are, November, December of 2025. And then I'll take the OPM's milestone schedule, which is right here on this screen. I took the liberty to highlight some of the next 3 key point steps and put some dates in there. Again, just kind of my worksheet, if you will, for the committee's consideration. So here we are, row 164, the selection of the CM firms into the RFP stage. It looks like it's going to be Monday the 17th. So that'll be, as I highlighted here in red, and I will update the schedule if it's agreeable to the committee. then we start the RFP process essentially Monday night or Monday, the 17th of November, or Tuesday morning, the 18th. And with the idea kind of backing into the goal of bringing the final selection to the full committee on the 17th of December, we thought we would have the RFP process continue from the 17th of November. And if I go back to the calendar for 1 second here. So if it starts on Monday, the 17th of November, that week, I know there's the week of Thanksgiving, which is a funny week, but it is a week. It is time. And then we would probably have the RFP's submission date either on Friday the 5th, give or take, again, conversation. And we can wrap these dates up on Monday during our meeting, gives the committee members opportunity to think this through. Or the submissions are due no later than Monday, December 8th as a timeline. Again, I go back to the schedule. And then we can begin to interview potentially Tuesday the 9th, probably no sooner than, and certainly no later than the 16th of December. Go back to the calendar. Again, if submissions are due on the 8th, that gives committee the day and a 24-hour period to read the RFPs, do the interviews the week of the 9th, the 10th, excuse me, the 9th, 10th, and 11th, depending on people's availability, any one of those days. Or if things get tight, it's the 15th and 16th, with the following day, the 17th of December, being the full committee, at which time the qualification committee should have a selection of the CM. Again, there's kind of a floating timeline in there. I'm thinking it's probably going to be 2 days of interviews, depending on how many firms are selected and what time of day will the interviews take place. Again, availability of the committee members. Is it going to be during the business hours, or would it be in the evening, 5 p.m., 8 p.m., depending on how that works out? And I'm certain several committee members have other commitments to the town, be it town meetings, school committees, meetings, what have you. So things to think about. I'll stop for a minute if there's any kind of open conversation regarding that sort of timeline. I'll go back to this if that's helpful. I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chairman, for any questions or thoughts.
Yeah, is there any discussion?
Yeah, I have a comment. What format are we expecting the interviews to take? Because if we're asking them to come prepared with any sort of presentation or handout or anything, I would prefer to give them a little bit of time to prepare that. So I think either we add more time in between when we receive the proposals versus when the interviews happen, or we could say that if they're invited to submit a proposal, then we're assuming that we're interviewing them, and then we can let them know from the get-go.
Yeah, I like the latter option, but I'll leave that to you guys, what you guys think. Anyone object to that, of inviting everyone, that we move forward to make a deck?
That's correct. So once we invite the people, the firms that we invite for the RFP, we shortlist. That's the ones we interview, and they can be made aware of it at that point. Make the submission by this deadline, and then the interviews start right after that, so they are aware of it, that they have their presentations ready after that.
Great. Thank you,
That
Marilee.
makes sense.
No. Go ahead, Mark.
So we have 8 qualified CMs. We're gonna rank them come Monday afternoon. Out of those rankings, what's the committee's sense of how many of those 8 firms you're going to shortlist and or interview?
Well, wouldn't that be a discussion? That's what we're going to discuss on Monday once we get the ranking.
Right. No, absolutely, but if Mary Lee's good suggestion, if it's 5, then, get it right to them right away and say, get your proposals in and we're going to be scheduling an interview for you. If it's
Mhm.
3, same situation. But if it comes out of Monday that whatever the number of firms are going to be interviewed, then, I agree that process is good to give them, so it gives them a little bit more time to prepare.
Yeah, I think I had like 4 or 5 in my head, probably.
Yeah, I'm guessing we see where everything comes out. I was talking to Peter a little bit. If things are tight, we can make call based on that. But if there's a good gap between, let's say, 2 or 3 of them and the rest of the field, we can make decisions that way.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if it's 4 or 5, then you're definitely looking at 2 days of interviews. You're not going to be able to squeeze them all in. So.
Because it's a minimum of 3, and
Right.
we have 8.
I mean, I
That's
could
right.
see it doing like 3 a day for 2 days. Is that, I mean, well, we'll see how that plays out. Maybe it's less than that, but does that work for people to kind of break it up that way?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, and I would just again my 2 cents here. I would anticipate each interview window for each firm from start to end would be 1 hour. Again, 20 to 30 minutes of presentation,
Mhm.
10 minutes, 15 minutes of conversation, questions and answers, 5 minutes of closing remarks, and then they tear down, and the next firm comes in and sets up. By the time all that happens, it's 60 minutes, and then you go on to the next interview. So again, see how it goes. Again, I'm kind of forecasting. That's a few weeks out, but just as a thought. Okay. Mr. Chair, I can go back to the agenda. If there's any other discussions on those timelines, I'll go back to this calendar. That's kind of what we're looking like. I believe the goal still is to have a final selection to be prepared to submit or to discuss with the full committee on the 17th of December to move forward with the full closeout of the process.
Yes, that's to be the goal.
Okay, very good. So we basically got a month to go, give or take. Okay, I guess that's number 5. We'll go back to the number 4, if that's okay. The RFP, I know Mary Lee, you said, can you send me a draft? And I said I'd get it out to the committee. I don't have it quite ready to get to you yet, but I'm feverishly pecking away at the keyboard, and I'll get that to you shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
With respect to the on-site, when the RFP stage begins, I'd like to put into the RFP a on-site briefing date and time. I'll go back to this calendar because maybe it makes sense. I have had an early communication with the school department, the superintendent, and the principal to alert them that the next stage of the CM selection will require an on-site briefing session, which is helpful. They've come back and they welcome the opportunity for the firms to visit the site. There was a few restrictions with respect to recesses and things that school operations have underway. So we're probably thinking sometime midday, like 12:30 to 2 p.m. would be an on-site window. I'll confirm that between now and the RFP gets finalized. But using the calendar here, if you don't mind, if the RFP process truly begins close of business, or let's say Tuesday morning, the 18th of November, do we want to have a briefing session that week, either the 20th? Do we want to have it the 24th or 25th? Or do you want to have it the first week of December? That doesn't give much time, the first week of December, if the submissions are due on the 5th.
Mhm.
Again, thinking if I'm one of the firms make a site visit, got to go back to my office, prepare my slide deck, prepare my submission, giving the firms adequate time to produce a set of documents in their RFP regarding the site plans and their site visit, or any questions by way of addendum. So my thinking is probably the 20th or maybe the 25th of November for a site visit. Again, conversation here with the committee on people's thoughts and ideas. And again, I'm going to say we can finalize this on Monday. These are just seeds I want to plant in your mind. So when we send the RFP out, I can just change the date within the RFP to whatever's decided, unless we decide today.
To the chair, Peter, I would recommend doing the 21st, no later than 21st, because the following week, people are making plans now. Some of them are driving because of what's going around. So I would not, have people to change their plans to come for a walkthrough at this point may not even happen, and you don't want to lose out the interest. You want the senior people to come at least. So if you give them I think the 21st would be the latest I would recommend. No later than 21st of the, because, after that, the weekend starts and then people already have their plans predetermined at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 20th would be perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm in, not that I'm a voting member, but I would sway in that direction as well. I'm thinking Thursday, the 20th.
Okay.
12:30 p.m. plus or minus. I'll confirm the time with the school department. But that's what we're looking to have an on-site briefing session for the CM firms.
Mark, go ahead.
Is it mandatory?
No?
Okay.
I'm more or less guarantee everybody will be there. That's just the way how it goes.
And you really don't want to have a mandatory because then you have to have 2 walkthroughs, a minimum. So
yeah,
that makes it more logistical issues.
Okay. Thank you for that decision. I think that's locked in at this point. I'll zoom out on the agenda. That's more or less the crux of the agenda, the topics, the items for discussion. If there's nothing, I'll move down to 6 with any other business anticipated. I don't have any, Mr. Chairman. Back to you as the committee, unless anybody else does.
Anything else? No? Okay. Can I call for a motion then to adjourn, unless there's anything else?
So moved.
Second.
Perfect.
Mr.
Roll
Chair.
call.
Mr. Chair, I'm sorry. If you don't mind, just to say it out loud before we adjourn, the next meeting will be Monday, November 17th at 2 p.m. Okay. And if anybody has any loose information that needs to be forwarded on for the final consensus, please forward that. Be greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you. Yeah. Back to you.
Roll call. Mike,
Yep.
Mary Lee,
Yes.
Suresh,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Are there any other voting members? So Peter, you're not a voting member. Mark, are you a voting member?
No.
Okay,
He's not.
perfect. Then we're adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you.